copy that. Anybody watching The Bachelor?
People from places unknown, from countries unknown. We have languages coming into our country. We have nobody that even speaks those languages.
Latin, Aramaic.
They're truly foreign languages. Nobody speaks them.
It's actually English. It's just above a fourth grade reading level.
Well, this is the dumbest thing I've seen today.
There's so much crazy stuff again this week.
You're right, Gleep. Fire up the alienator.
You can monitor her Netflix special If You Didn't Want Me Then.
Comedian Beth Stelling, I Want You Now. Beth, welcome to the spaceship. You're an alien, you're a blob, you're an alien blob.
My apologies if you can still see what I had for lunch.
Let's get to it.
I got indicted a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time.
Always indicted, never invited.
And a lot of people said that that's why the black people like me, because they have been hurt so badly and discriminated against.
By me.
I'm just like the Central Park 5 that I wrote about all those years ago. I can't remember what I wrote about.
And it's a disgrace. This is like a third world country.
The Kid's Guide to Trump book? Did anyone else see that?
Oh, yeah.
The best part of Right Side Broadcasting Network is that they are constantly promoting the weirdest
Free Trump book.
If anything needs to be banned at a library, it is this grooming book.
To help us reclaim the party of Frederick Douglass.
Frederick Douglass.
We're delighted to have some of our party's most prominent leaders. Byron Donalds is so young. Wesley
Oh
Hunt
my
is so
God.
young. You guys are so young. Oh, I'd like to get a couple of years from them.
That is like literally the plot of Get Out.
I'd like to transplant my brain in you.
Come here, you young black men.
I could get at least 4 more terms with you.
He's like, sometimes just youth makes my move.
And other times, it's a lot of Adderall.
I'd like to snort you.
Ruthless gangs will explode even more into the suburbs.
Duck
When
and
they talk
cover,
about
ladies. We got gangs exploding.
Suburban women, they're going to love me so much. They're going to say, oh, I wish we had that guy back.
Ooh, that guy found liable for rape? My hero.
The gangs will be invading your territory, I can tell you that.
Girls, the gang's right behind you. Get into the voting booth quick.
All right, well, as Trump tries to scare women into voting for him, Republicans are the ones they should really be afraid of.
You want to know what I had for lunch?
Okay.
Alabama embryos. I ate all the Alabama embryos. They left them out.
The Supreme Court Chief Justice Tom Parker wrote, "Human life cannot be wrongfully destroyed without incurring the wrath of a holy God who views the destruction of his image as an affront to himself."
Totally,
and he goes on to say, quote, "Even before birth, all human beings bear the image of God, and their lives cannot be destroyed without effacing his glory."
That is from page 72 of the Dungeons & Dragons Monster Guide. And I, for one, am happy to see this being mainstreamed.
I was wondering what language that was.
It for sure is from the demigod of the astral plane.
He is a vengeful demigod.
It's a vengeful demigod. Heard of Baal? Because if the sacrifice is made on the blood boon, it's lights out.
Do you have a reaction to the Alabama Supreme Court ruling on the fact that embryos are children?
Yeah, I was all for it.
We're about to watch him completely change his opinion in real time.
Attack on families, attack on kids.
And I'm for that.
Anything that we can do for the future of our young people, because they're our number one commodity.
We got oil, and then we got children just below that.
We could be exporting children at a very profitable rate.
We need to have more kids.
I'm out as well. I'm also out of kids.
I ran out last week.
IVF is used to have more children, and right now IVF services are paused at some of the clinics in Alabama.
We're watching him learn.
This could impact people who are trying to have kids.
Well, that's for another conversation.
Well, wouldn't it just be so good if he was like, well, you got me.
That's another conversation for someone smarter than me.
I haven't actually been fed the talking point yet. Kellyanne Conway hasn't told me how to feel about this.
Try to work it out to where it's best for everybody. I mean, that's what the whole abortion issue is about. So
this really isn't about abortion, it's about IVF.
That's a completely different thing, Senator Moron.
But it's about the same direction, but I agree.
Same direction.
We're driving to the end zone.
Just like football, just like football.
I'm thinking 1st and 10, 3-point conversion, slip it to the quarterback.
What do you say to the women right now in Alabama who no longer have access to IVF?
Walk it off.
Well, that's a hard one. It really
cut. Okay.
Well, you're just out of luck.
Losing's hard, but it's the only way you get better.
I'd have to look at the entire bill and how it's
Not
written.
a bill.
I have not seen it.
Supreme Court decision.
Well, I know that.
I know that. I just heard you say that. I just learned that right now.
God.
He's Dr. Manhattan. He's like, I know that now that you've told me.
Time is a flat circle.
Unfortunate. Unfortunately.
God, can you imagine if they made you watch your interviews like you do a football tape?
Yeah. Let's roll this back.
Do you see what you did here?
This is where you up.
It's crazy that he doesn't leave. He keeps getting back up. He's the kid in the thing that the foam bar keeps hitting him in the head and he keeps falling down.
That's not a big conversation.
Well, it's a conversation now, and IVF is not a Democrat or Republican.
Senator, do you know what IVF stands for? Can someone just ask him that?
Intravenous.
Sound it out.
I vote for
Ivermectin fan?
Internet vehicular fan slaughter.
Are you saying that families in Texas who are using IVF do not need to worry?
They need to worry.
They need to be very afraid. They need to leave the state.
Well, so you raise fact questions that are complex that I simply don't know the answer to.
I'm a low information governor.
Examples, and that is, I have no idea mathematically the number of frozen embryos. Is it 1, 10, 100, 1,000?
If they're in a jar and I guess the right number, what prize do I win?
I'm going to tell you right now, it's not one.
These are very complex issues where I'm not sure everybody has really thought about.
I know I haven't.
What all the potential problems are.
Really gets to the non-beating heart of life at conception question.
As the pro-life movement, we believe that those are children.
And here are our beautiful children.
Look at those adorable embryos. Oh my God, they're so cute.
Sextuplets.
I love this stage. You can tickle them right in the middle and they do nothing because they're not people.
I'm sorry, this is actually footage of the moon landing. My apologies.
When I was going through this process with my wife,
We actually could get pregnant naturally, but my wife refused to have sex with me any longer.
at one point I had to move an embryo literally across town in a canister.
Someone open that lid so that baby can breathe.
And I put it in the back of a cab.
It was my embryo, not me, that asked you to turn down the African music. It has nothing to do with me.
And I really felt like I was moving a child across town.
As you can see, I bite my nails because I'm unwell and constantly stressed.
Wow, yeah, those are past the nail bed.
Those are nubby nails.
Ooh, those hurt to look at.
The lies eat at me and I eat my nails.
I bonded with that box.
I'm now the father of 4 beautiful boxes.
Yeah. Ultimately, it became a baby.
Became. Keyword.
All right, Beth, gonna give you a little forewarning here.
Yeah, this is the part where we play a clip from a Nazi.
Straight up Nazi who dined at Mar-a-Lago at the table of Donald Trump.
My wife wants to know your take on IVF. She was 27 when we found out it's the only way she could get pregnant.
By the way, that's not an AI voice. That's how Nazis sound when they have no empathy.
That was deeply upsetting.
You can't be willfully sinning like this. And, that may sound hypocritical. I am an IVF baby as well.
Stop.
Okay, I would like to revise my position on IVF. I think it's terrible.
His parents' fertility doctor must have some serious Oppenheimer regret.
Would you go back in time and stop IVF baby Nick Fuentes from being created? Yes.
All right, from frozen embryos to a frozen Senate Minority Leader.
There'll be plenty of time to express my gratitude in greater detail as I sprint towards the finish line.
He's not sprinting anywhere.
Is sprint a synonym for shuffle down there?
Is Susan Collins in line behind Mitch because she's also stepping down?
Yeah. These people need to get off the ride.
I yield the floor.
Don't shake him too hard.
Thank you for all the terrible things you've done.
They're approaching him like children do a baby bird in the nest.
Addison Mitch McConnell.
Addison Mitch McConnell.
The third, the fourth.
2 years old, had polio.
I love how surviving polio is on his resume.
I know.
We could talk for hours about his legacy.
Could we?
History in the making right now. I've been covering Mitch McConnell since Ronald Reagan.
Covering for him.
I also should retire.
He was a master of leadership.
A master of leadership. Famously refused to allow a single piece of gun control legislation after multiple school shootings.
Yeah, that guy. Well, from frozen senators to frozen desserts.
I don't get this whole Joe Biden ice cream thing.
I don't get a lot.
I'm not asking the president to give up ice cream, but save it for vacation.
Just like ass play, you save it for vacation.
According to the Alzheimer's Association, ice cream is a favorite for people with diminished faculties. Quote,
I looked up the word ice cream in the dictionary.
Has the power to immediately elicit soothing feelings at the very first taste of a single spoonful.
All the old people listening at home are like...
A grown man, especially the president, should not be licking ice cream in public.
Baskin Robbins put up that guy's photo saying not welcome.
Oh, wow.
He's an enemy to ice cream.
If I see this man eating a single spoonful of ice cream, I swear to God.
Oh, someone did post a photo of him with a guy at an ice cream shop.
That's awesome.
Jesse Waters sure knows a lot about men. Lightning round.
You know my rule about men eating soup in public. I don't think it's manly to go like that.
Hair and makeup, on the other hand.
You know I recommend that all men refrain from using straws. It's unbecoming. The way a man's lips purse.
It's all about me imagining their lips around my tiny
Men should not be hiccuping. Only if they've had way too much to drink.
Better not be Bud Light.
You should never sit on the floor as a man, except if you're playing with your baby or playing with your dogs.
Or your
Unless you're holding a mirror and you're trying to get a better look at your
Another thing, when you're doing stretches alone.
What the hell?
Especially the child's pose. You shouldn't walk in on anybody doing a child's pose. It's a very
Someone walked in on him doing the child.
This is prime time Fox News.
This is the guy who replaced Tucker Carlson.
Reason, people. Also, go get my book. You can pre-order it. Get it together. There it is right now. Actually, the same place.
Get it
Johnny
together.
No man should be caught reading my book.
Do not disturb. I'm in my room in child's pose, sucking a man's through a straw while I read my book and we cover each other in ice cream, lick it off to the point where we hiccup and do it all again.
Can you believe we had embryo and ice cream in the same week? Man.
Wow, what a gift.
Two of America's favorite frozen treats.
Hiya, thanks for tuning in. If you like the show, help us keep this spaceship going. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or drop a comment. We read them all. If you really like the show, subscribe to our Patreon where we share bonus content that didn't make it on this episode. Okay, gotta go. Thank you. Bye.